pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's Tuesday, September 22nd, Mitchell County Board of Supervisors meeting. Any changes for the agenda?
I have none, so I will approve the agenda as written.
Second.
I'm guessing no further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. And how about the minutes and the claims?
I had no problem with either.
Same here.
I had none.
That was a motion.
Okay,
Okay, I shall second that.
all right. With no further discussion, all in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? The minutes and claims are approved. County Attorney, are you on the line this morning?
Yes, I am.
Do you have anything for us?
That property that Randy Johnson wanted to buy. You know the opening? Great. Package, you guys are getting all right into on the package. Where exactly?
Okay, there might be some background if someone needs to mute theirs. Okay, yeah, if you want to try again, Mark?
That property that Randy Johnson wants to buy, I wanted to get that set for public hearing, and then I didn't know if you were just going to do the same as you always do, just for the legal costs and the cost of publication. But if we get that in the paper by the 25th, then they would actually, it would go in the 30th paper, so we could set that for October 13th at 8:45. That's all right with everyone?
Yeah, that sounds good.
October what, did you say? That 8?
October 13th.
Okay. Is that okay with you, Lowell?
Yep. Fine.
Okay, yeah, that would be fine.
Okay, and then is it going to be the same as others? It's just the cost of publication and he pays his own legal fees?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Other than that, I don't have anything.
How are we doing with the Kephart situation? Have we heard anything from the upstairs here?
I have not heard anything. I'll check on that and let you know. I know he's had an initial appearance. Usually I'll get notice of that says he pled guilty or he pled not guilty or it's set for trial. But I haven't received anything, so I'll check on that. And I'll shoot you all an email what's going on.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, I had somebody from the public, actually a couple from the public, have questioned me on it. This will help. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Mark.
Yep, thank you.
All right.
Sheriff, are you on the line?
No, he's in Riceville.
Okay, well, we do need to approve his report.
Yep. I've got everything here.
Yeah, and we've got copies. Have you guys had a chance to look at it?
Anything?
Who ended up buying the vehicle?
Conservation.
Okay,
No, excuse me, secondarily.
okay.
Anything happening at Riceville with these?
I think you just have to do some, take a vehicle over for maintenance.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'll move to approve the sheriff's report.
Second?
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the sheriff's report is approved for August. Okay, Rich, are you on the line?
I am. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Not really a lot to discuss, but got something here that's kind of hot on the wire from the DOT and whatnot. Not last week, Friday prior to, we got an email from the Service Bureau on a build grant, they call it,
It's a $25 million grant for funding awkwardly long bridges or some goofy bridges that elude our normal HVP funding, our normal bridge funding, big structures, river crossings that are in the multi-million-dollar mark. They're hoping that each county can submit a bridge that can be reviewed to maybe see if it qualifies for the funding. The problem is we don't have a lot of awkwardly long bridges that are in the queue, so to speak, in a 5-year plan to replace, because most of ours are still in decent shape, but they're looking at bridges that are structurally deficient and also a sufficiency rating of less than 80, which we have a couple, but they're just not, they haven't been programmed yet because they're really not in that dire strait yet. And most of them have done some work ready to kind of end their lives. So I'm working with WHKS a little bit to see if we can find one bridge that maybe qualifies, but it's got to be kind of a project that can get through NEPA clearances quickly. And, you know, we wouldn't even know right now yet if we picked a bridge what kind of, if it's a repair or replacement type structure. So we're going to struggle a little bit trying to see if we can fit something in there, but we're going to try to submit something so at least it's for review. I don't know how many bridges they're going to choose. Like I said, it's $25 million. They're indicating 150-foot length, maybe plus those longer ones. And the bridge costs are going to be covered by 75% grant and 25% either bridge funding or farm to market funding or local funding. So just be aware of that it's not a free ride, I guess. And in addition to that cost, the bridges that are selected, the counties that are selected for this grant, will be splitting the $100,000 fee for having the grant written. So there's some added expense there too. So the other thing is that once the bridges are selected and awarded, we've got 2 years in order to have them under contract or bid. So we've got a really, really short window. I wish they'd give us more time than a week and a half or 2 weeks, but we'll see what we can get pushed through. We have a couple we can look at, but like I said, some of these bridges have been repaired in the last 10 years to gain us some life. So we'll do what we can to get through. Are you guys okay with understanding, you know, what the requirements are with, you know, paying for the grant and also being able to supplement the grant money if we were chosen? I just want to make sure you guys are clear on that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you just have to rearrange some stuff later if you actually got it, I assume.
So we're going to see what we can do. I'm not optimistic that we've got anything that'll qualify compared to what other counties might have. We don't have a lot of long span bridges. Other counties do, and they're probably in worse shape than ours. But we'll see what we can get pushed through. They want the applications by next week, Wednesday, so it's kind of a really tight window here, but we'll see what we can get pushed through.
Worth a try.
Yep, other than that, I don't have a lot to discuss this morning. If you guys got any questions.
Well, the one thing that I talked to Richie a little bit about, and that's on Mitchell Line Street and Foothill. There's no traffic control on that. On the southwest corner of that intersection, there is a farm place that doesn't have a house on it. But then you go to Echo and you go to Dancer, and those both roads have stop signs controlling the north-south traffic. And then, of course, Cameo is a T intersection. And like this fall again, I gotta basically come to almost a stop with a school bus on Foothill because that is not a controlled intersection where Echo, Dancer, Cameo, all three are. And so it almost makes sense because that is a through road to have a control. Basically, we could put up yield signs, I think, on Foothill.
Okay, well, I'm usually for stuff that's more safety-minded and protecting people.
I'm not positive that's designated as a through route yet. I'll have to do some digging to see if there is. Typically, if a route has been designated by the Board of Supervisors to be a through route, all intersections will have some sort of traffic control device, whether it's yield or stop. because this one only doesn't have anything at that intersection, I'm a little skeptical that it's classified as a through route just yet. So one option is for the board to designate that as a through route, and then because it's a through route, I mean, we'll still have to make we'll have to kind of do a light engineer's report to verify what we're doing and why we're doing it, to justify what we're doing. But one way to do that is if you guys want to justify or classify that as a through route, when it's classified as a through route, then traffic control devices are placed at intersections.
Well, should we just wait and see if you can find out for sure if it is already one?
Yeah, give me some time. Give me. I was gone last week, but give me some time to do a little bit digging.
But
Okay.
as long as there is that farm place in the southwest corner, I mean, again, it isn't 100%.
We'll go out Tuesday and we'll look at the site distance issues there too. If there's blockage there, that might warrant something as well.
Good idea. Okay, you can let us know what you find out.
Yep.
All right. Thanks for bringing it to our attention, Stan. Okay, so you're done with us, Rich.
I don't have anything else further that I can think of.
All right.
They're all out grading this week, and
Yeah, we're finishing. We're going to try to rock Kirkwood there north of Mitchell. That stretch we just got done grading, that's going to get rocked this week. So we'll be done with that stretch of road here. Harvest is kicking in. So
okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, the property tax suspension. Was Shannon gonna?
Shannon's gonna come.
Okay.
Well, why don't we go get her, because we don't have much left on the,
Yeah, I was gonna try it.
Okay, you call it. I see we have flu shots.
That's hers too.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, I don't
We're
see
gonna,
anybody.
October 13th, we're gonna do flu shots.
Okay,
Starting, I think, 9 o'clock in break room, home health or annual.
is that a cost to
Yeah, we are.
employees then? Okay,
Thanks.
Still wear health insurance.
She'll be right here. Flu shots, is that something she's gonna talk about too? Okay.
do we normally have 100% participation, or?
I doubt it. But it's pretty good. There were a couple gals doing for veterans yesterday in Larry's office, so did you get one?
I got one.
okay. Yeah, all the different variations of the flu. Person just cross your fingers and hope that the shot protects you
Hi Shannon.
from the current.
So we were gonna talk about that property
Good morning,
tax
Sharon.
suspension first.
Pam.
Yes,
Is that that one you talked about before?
I have two of them. They're actually from DHS. They're individuals that are on SSI and had applied
That's what Stan thought maybe.
for the waiver. Yep. So we have Bradley Prigge from St. Ansgar and Francis Falk. Francis he gets the elderly waiver. They both do. Or no, yeah, they both get the elderly waiver. This is an addition. Francis's is for his special assessment for the city of Osage.
Okay.
So
Has this always been done for them?
it's a standard thing that the state does. Usually, Francis, this is the first year he has a special assessment. Normally, they get $1,000 that the state will pay on their behalf based on income or disability or age. And he normally, his income tax is covered by the elderly waiver. This year is the first year he has a special assessment. So
Okay. I do know him, I don't know the other
Yes.
gentleman.
No, it's something that we have to.
you have to do. You don't have a, you just have to.
We don't
But
have
it's
choice.
nice
One
you
of those
got it.
things.
Yep.
Yep.
So
So moved.
Seconded.
orders.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, that's approved then.
It's a Department of Human Services credit that this county just has to, you just waive it. They aren't not paying their taxes, it's just delaying it till someone else owns the property or the person passes and then it comes out of their state. You have to sign it too. I did run a report this morning for taxes, just FYI, so you guys know where we're sitting right now. We have collected 53% of the taxes due for the first half.
Okay, is that kind of on par where you usually are right now?
Most people wait, we'll probably get 25% in the next week, and then the week after, the postmark date is very happy place for some people. So, we have received 30% of the second half as well. We have quite a few people in the county that pay both halves in September, so that's kind of nice, or 7%, I'm sorry, not 30, 7% of the second half, so it's almost $1 million, 774,000, so we'll get about $1 million in the second half ahead of time as well.
Interesting.
Flu shots, just wanted to let you know, Jessa had called me as part of the wellness committee, her and I usually touch base. October 13th, it's a Tuesday, so we set it up for flu shots so you guys can do them after the board meeting as well. Just gonna be the courthouse, it's gonna be in the break room
Okay,
on the split side. And another FYI, the County Treasurers Association was notified that Monroe County, it's southeast of Des Moines, is shut down for a week. They have positive COVID staff, so. Lucky or not, the actual treasurer was gone on medical leave. She had ankle surgery. So she's able to come back in because we have to do daily things,
sure.
bank statements, there's
Sure.
things you have to do.
Can have
that
it all cleaned
you don't
up.
wanna wait, yeah. Well, yeah, they cleaned it all, but you have to, just for basic accounting stuff, you wanna keep an eye on your
That was
accounts and
lots of
all
that.
that stuff.
Wow.
So they're shut down for a week.
Just a week, huh?
They have one positive staff, they have shut down for a week, and then they're gonna see where they are
Test.
from there. Check and see where they're at that point, which
Yep,
they have to
okay.
shut down for a week, so. We were always told 2 weeks, but
I thought maybe it'd
CDC's
be 2
moving.
weeks.
Huh.
That's the scary
Interesting.
thing, that's what would be my worst case scenario is.
Huh.
Where are you at with opening up your office that you don't need appointments?
Driver's license probably won't ever be that point for quite a while, because just, we don't have 6 feet between individuals testing and individuals being issued, and, the DOT is not even going back to non-appointments. The DOT will not take walk-ins anymore, they've already stated that they're gonna stay with scheduled appointments. Walk-ins, we're already doing walk-ins for property taxes and for registration renewal. We tell people just to come on the quarter hour, and licensing vehicles, we're 1 day out. We've, end of month. With property taxes, I don't want a deluge of people, but we're thinking October, for motor vehicle side. And we've kind of been, if somebody comes, we don't really turn them away. We just ask them to wait, and we get them in. 'Cause with Cassie back down, and we're full staff, so yeah. Motor vehicle, we're pretty much there. It's nice to talk to the people to make sure they bring all the paperwork, because usually we send them away at least once. Now we're able to get them coming in with all the right info to begin with, but at least then they're not necessarily, they're mad at us, but if they forget to bring the paperwork in, and we've already told them, they're more mad at themselves, so it kind of delays it, but I would say next month, motor vehicle. Driver's license, I don't see it, the DOT. With the setup in our office, I would hate to have a kid or someone taking their CDL test, and we're at our desks doing stuff because a person's over here taking a test, and a person comes in and is yelling and upset because we're not working. When we are, that's a one-shot area, we can't have more than one person there, so just to keep people happy and make it a safer environment, I think it's gonna be a while before driver's license ever goes back to walk-in. Not to say people walk in and we do have them just sit and we get them their license and stuff, but as far as testing, when it takes 40 minutes for someone to take a test, you have a lot of people that come in really mad.
But that's the area that I keep on hearing about, so just to give you an FYI.
We're giving appointments for tomorrow on driver's license. We're only day out.
But
Same for motor vehicle.
I say just giving you an FYI.
We are probably gonna be opening up to out-of-county people, because we are caught up with in-county people. So, we are caught up, it's just you can't, and if you do hear that, just remind them that, would you wanna be taking a test, or have your child taking a test and have someone standing behind them screaming because they don't get that that's 2.5 foot by.
Well, there's two groups. There's a group that really think that masks are important, and there's a group that, by God, you wouldn't get them.
Yep, we've got both of them in our office on a regular basis. And unfortunately, they can't come into our office to do driver's license without a mask, so. And they can go to other counties, but that's what we're required to do, but. Yeah, just remind them, you know, there's more than one thing we do on that, in that side. We do photo IDs, we do driver's license, and we do testing. And when they're doing testing, that locks up that area for a good 40 minutes, so. And we can't have somebody, they're not, if you walk in, it looks like nobody's in there. But you don't see that person sitting at the computer. And it's not fair to them to have somebody yelling when they can't be in that area, so.
I just say just nip
I know.
that.
It's not fun. We get a lot of good phone calls, so.
Flu shots, would you send out a little email to everybody?
Those are
Be in
put
the
in
mail.
in the monthly
Sure.
reminder, and then since it's a Tuesday, we thought it'd be better. You guys would be.
It's just for courthouse.
Just for courthouse staff. She said they're going to other sites
Okay.
to do theirs on site too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shannon.
I'm allergic. Okay, meetings attended. I'll get started, mine are kind of long. One comment I want to make though before I forget is I did take that online voting that the Iowa State Association of Counties had recommendations to send to the legislators, and I did do that. Okay.
I did too, so. just-
Did ya?
Yeah.
Good, yeah, I figure whatever little bit we can do is helpful. Mitchell County Board of Health meeting. We might want to thinking about when we do get a new sanitation person, that we might want to, Mark mentioned that we should think about getting somebody who's certified for lead testing. As Mark isn't, and he has to send people to Cerro Gordo. And I don't think there's all that much to getting that little certification, but anyway, something to keep in mind. Let's see, well, at that time of the meeting, there was 85 active. Oh wait, yeah, 85 active for COVID. No, we have 85 for, I'm sorry, I wrote that down wrong. Yeah, it was 85 active, okay. The nursing home tests their staff twice a week, and six of the staff, nursing home staff, have it, but no residents. Okay. Home health has 88 people. We might want to encourage the city. Mark also talked about he has problems with rentals with a lot of mold, and the city had talked about possibly doing some inspections, so we might want to think about encouraging that. And let's see, the nursing homes are actually in different stages right now to visit your loved ones. I know some of them want to test before you go in, but while they have the tester, they don't actually have the supplies. So I'm sure that's frustrating to them. 7 active cases in school. They are working hard at masking, which actually has gets your percentage down to 1% if they're masked and spaced 6 feet apart. This actual spread of those 7 people, it didn't come from in school itself. Let's see, there is a building being renovated by Dr. Hageman for COVID testing for when the cold really hits, but it's not ready yet. That's something I want to check into. Oh, they want to recommend, so I'll put it out there, that people do not bring their animals with them for testing. They've had several close calls of the staff being bitten and lunged at and whatever, so they are not to bring their animals. Let's see, the flu vaccine, they got a grant for parts of it. I put it on some stuff on the website. They're doing all the schools for flu vaccinations. They'll do that outside. Cause they've got a traveling trailer that actually, I think can be heated in the whole bit. And let's see, they have scratch cupcakes coming October 7th from 3 to 6. October 13th at 9 for the flu shots, which we were just told about, and co-insurance does pay for all that. And that was for the courthouse staff. And I had a North Iowa Community Action Board meeting, and that was so long that I'm trying to cut it down, because considering how many things we go through, we are so lucky to have Sheila Davis and Sheila, I can't think of her name, because they just zip it along, because we cover a ton of stuff. They added, apparently in their policy for events like COVID, they also added that employees can run for office. Apparently that wasn't in there before. They upped their purchases so that they could purchase from $500 to $999 for authorization. They opened up, they'd been doing it, but they didn't have it in writing, so they opened up to make sure that their policies were being done as far as that when they purchase from people, that they are also purchasing from women and minorities. Obviously, their finances all changed due to COVID. We had to approve grants that each group was going after, and a lot of them take about a year, but they actually have to have it, apply for it that year ahead. Gosh, there's so much on here. Head Start had to have 3 motions of approval for coordinating, expansion, and continuation. The Head Start schools are open, but they have given the option of online. 1 class had to close temporarily due to COVID. They have 174 students compared to 227, about 12 per classroom, and there is a waiting list. They had to reduce their hours to accommodate the schools, but that could change anytime. There are 25 virtual learners. They can see videotapes of what's done in the classroom, and then they can actually send videotapes back in themselves. So they feel like those doing virtual computers, it's not a big problem. Those people can actually still pick up their meals, but they cannot miss over 2 times in a row, which has not been a problem at all so far. 2.5% of budgets are recommended for training expenses. Thought that was interesting. We talked actual costs of expansions in Charles City and Mason City. Mason City's possible state is near Shopko in their parking lot. But they do have some other options too. Head Start uses FEMC grants to increase literacy. United Way Housing gave a report, and it's to help people who are about to become homeless. Last year they had helped 65 families avoid eviction. And we have a new contract with a hearing aid group that provided hearing aids to kids not covered with insurance at about $1,000 for each child. And I know one family had triplets, all with hearing trouble, so I'm sure that helped them out tremendously. And then I had a Northeast Iowa Workforce Development meeting, and I'll be briefer on this one. I haven't received the 2080 shared liability agreement, but it has been sent out, and they're doing it alphabetically by county. So I'll take care of signing that when it comes. We talked about the fiscal agent contract with Central Iowa Juvenile Detention Center. Dubuque's county attorney is going to look over it for the local board. I had 3 people lined up to be on the local board with all their forms filled out, and 1 backed out because she took another job, period. I'm hoping I have a good chance of getting these people, appointed. Um, What's on their side is they got their applications in really early. But we have to be, gender balanced and politically balanced, and so for that reason, they may not get in. And that should do it. Okay?
That's your meetings.
Yes.
I had, on September 16th, FMC DCAT board meeting. Called to order, 7 people showed up, approved the agenda, approved the previous meeting minutes, discussed a full-time APPC member and a part-time member. They have someone who is interested in the part-time spot. The part-time spot pays $1,500. The full-time spot pays $3,000. Anyways, moving on, we discussed the CPPC contract and the funds were utilized. Moved on, discussed mental health bids. Approved, and that also come under budget. We had an update from the coordinator. We discussed what happens with contract with COVID. How does telehealth work and prove, have a proof of service over the phone. One member says this service is working. In other areas, kids relate to the service over the phone. Well, we're having these meetings over the phone, and I don't think our meetings are nothing like if we were together at these meetings, getting your other members, seeing their expression. So I have a different thought on that, but maybe.
I would agree with that too.
Okay, thank you. Then we discussed the CPPC Planning Committee meeting gaps and priorities. And they're gonna have a couple of webinars next week, and there'll be social media. Anyways, that meeting was adjourned on September 17th. We had a full board meeting at the landfill. Approved the agenda, approved the minutes, previous board meeting minutes, discussed the list of bills, and we had a citizen forum. Anyways, that's a chance for somebody from the public to come step up and give their take. Anyways, Alan from Gendro discussed the comprehensive plan. And that is different from what the board has discussed in previous meeting minutes or previous meetings. FMC has no way to enforce this plan, what is on the books, that is, and we cannot enforce the unit-based pricing, which is per person, per area, 3 bags, which are 33.5 gallon bags. It is a landfill and you're bringing garbage, and garbage is garbage, so I could see Al's from Gendro, his point. We have it in our bylaws and stuff, but we're not enforcing it. Anyways, that was left at that, kind of vague. New business, they discussed the financial statements of August 2020. We're over budget on some items. Leachate is a problem. But we're still overall okay. Most improvements, major improvements are getting done, and we have cash flow to pay expenses. So, next discussed was budget discussion and decision for 2021. And for the future of the landfill, they're thinking about a hydro mulcher with a cost of $48,000, a new Ranger That's the type of a little gator type unit, ATV or UTV, I think they call them, at $20,000. And $275,000 for a track loader. And our budget is $345,000 for 2021. So we have to also bring in the fact that we have leachate, and that is a $200,000 bill right there. And depends on weather how that leachate, if we can shoot it up into the air and have it come down on the ground. If it's a drier year, we can save some of that cost by spraying it right out there in the landfill and let Mother Nature evaporate it. Comprehensive plan and an approval, which we approved. That has to do with that discussion from Al from Gendro up earlier. The road update, that's the pave from the scale out to the hole. Joe talked with Brad Wick. November 1st will be the start. If the weather does not allow, it will be done in the spring. And one thing about concrete, if it's November and you pour concrete in November, and if it freezes hard for at least a month and a half, it'll shale out or break up on you. So I'm kind of hoping that they wait till next spring to do that. Old business. A guide from the landfill has been presented to all entities for what the rules are, and they want to discuss any revisions and send out new guides to all the households, and that's in the future. We'll discuss that more. It'll be brought up at the next board meeting. Anyways, that meeting was adjourned.
Well, as long as, excuse me, as long as, you mentioned about getting a new Ranger, didn't they just get one a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago?
They have 2 of them out there.
Oh, okay. All right, then.
So they can, and
No, I
These-
mean, that,
the tires on these machines, and I got a chuckle out. I walked up one day and said, God, you got a flat tire, or you got a nail in that tire. I stuck my head down there and looked, that tire has nails. There was 20, 30 nails sticking out of that tire. I don't know what they have in them tires, but they stay up. I had last night an FMC early childhood meeting. It was called to order at 6:30. Kim reviewed the agenda. Carried, reviewed the minutes, previous minutes, carried. We had comments from the chair and the vice chair. Kathy Herrick was the chair, or is the chair, and Twyla Dietz is the vice chair. And we had comments from the fiscal agent, Gloria Carr. And she stressed that there is less monies available now than there was 15, 20 years ago when they started. And she talked about the ranges and the value of what they've lost in monies, and it's quite a bit. I was quite surprised. Anyways, discussed was the FMC ECI executive team leadership, and Kathy Herrick is going to step down to vice chair, and Twyla Dietz is stepping up to chair. They're going to do a little swap, and that's in their bylaws that they have to change chair and vice chair once in a while. And being that them ladies have been there with FMC, Early Childhood of Iowa, since the beginning, there wasn't anybody going to say, I want that position. I mean, them gals,
They know what they're doing.
they eat, sleep, breathe that FMC early childhood bylaw. They discussed the financial report. There was action, that was carried. We had updates and reports from FMC, ECI providers, and child care resource and referral. We had a discussion from, or an update from Terry Orr. Families Together was Amanda McKee. Head Start, which is Floyd County and Chickasaw. Melissa Nelson is the director. She gave a discussion, and she is the director for Floyd and Mitchell. Learning Connections was Sue Loken, and she does Charles City, New Hampton, Osage, and the St. Ansgar programs. And at the tail end, they had a discussion for preschool, and that was from Lori Christensen, who is our director. Next up was the bylaws, and this would be the second reading. This was a board action. And our first meeting was, we passed it in February, and that was just before COVID hit, and that just kind of shut everything down. So we finally got to the second reading of it. There wasn't any questions or comments or complaints, so we had action. That was approved. We had another policy reading. This would have been the second reading for this. This was on existing policies. Again, that one was first approved back in February. Nobody made any comments or questions or comments, so that again was brought up. It was approved. And last discussed was a policy development to address the COVID type issues, and suggestions and examples were asked by members to make it legal and legit, so when we allow virtual or online spending, dollars becomes, you know, if you have that as a policy, the state leaves it kind of vague as to how you can do that, but theoretically in the past you've had person-to-person talking and meetings and stuff. This way, then dollars can be spent with online education or virtual, even though I don't think it is as good as face-to-face. But anyways, we're gonna make a draft on that, and we'll go from there. And that was the end of that meeting. So Stanley?
I really had no official meetings, but last Tuesday, an offer was made to Myrtle Nelson to be the director of NICOG. She's right now in the, does a lot on the housing end of it. And she accepted, so Myrtle will be starting her new position around the 1st of November, working with Joe for about 2 months, and then by the end of the year, Joe will be retired.
Where's she from?
She's from Mason City. I mean, actually lives in Rockwell, I believe.
Okay.
But she's in-house at,
Do you know offhand what kind of experience she had? I'm just curious.
What was your previous?
she's worked there for, if I remember right, 13 years, and then she worked as for the city of Mason City as, I won't get that right, correct, for 5 years in a similar position. And before that, she worked at Fort Dodge for a number of years in a similar position. So, but she was highly recommended by other staff, and they felt that, and in our interview, I mean, she did show up to be the top dog. And then the other thing was that in visiting with Adam Shirley visited with County Attorney Walk. And just to give you a heads up, the can donation is a donation to basically county conservation. That is not used as tax money. The reason I wanted to bring this up is that because it's a donation, it does not get to be considered as tax money. So they can actually do a couple things that they couldn't otherwise do with, when I was first on the Worth County Conservation Board, we had an individual on the board die. And we could not send flowers because, again, we couldn't use tax money. But yet again, because of, this is a donation to the county conservation.
It's a slush fund.
I don't wanna call it that. It operates under a different standard.
Yep.
Just to give you a heads up, so, but I mean, it's designated again for land acquisition.
All right. We did get our clerk's monthly fees collected. And we do need to approve that.
Just so
We just so note this one, okay. I was gonna say, why would we need to approve it? It's fees, I mean, that are collected, not given out. Okay, all right, so noted. Does the public have anything that they would like to comment on?
I have a question for Stan. Did you say, is that a permanent? Myrtle Nelson, is that a permanent or just a temporary?
No, she will be the director.
Thank you.
After 20 years, Joe Myrie is retiring. And so, yeah, she will be taking over as the permanent director.
Okay, does anybody else have any? Dave?
Approximately how much money, Stan, do you collect for the cans in that fund?
Well, it all depends on how often the recycling center can take cans. Last week they didn't take any. I texted him on Friday asking if we could deliver some this week. He said we'll have to see, so I haven't gotten any notice yet for this week. But if we can take a trailer load, depending on how many actual bottles are part of it, we've been getting, I think, around $550 a trailer load. And so, since I've been helping out, they basically taken in $2,900 and some, which again,
Adds up.
it adds up. And the other thing that, if I have to make 3 or 4 trips a week, I did ask, and this is part of the reason again, for the, being designated not county funds, they can actually, pay me a little bit of mileage. I don't need the, 50-some cents, but I do want to cover a little, I mean, if I'm making 3 or 4 trips, I'd like to at least cover part of my gas.
Yeah, you should have your gas
And so
covered.
they can do that out of that fund. So in any event, why, but it's, the problem that we really have again is that, we got way more cans than that out there than we can get rid of. I mean, if we could make 2 trips a week for about the next 5 or 6 weeks, we could start to get halfway caught up.
I have an idea that if once COVID, winds down and the vaccine does show up, which is any time from now until the next year in the future, some of them cans might, be taken care of by their previous owners.
I rather doubt it, and the reason I say that is, the grocery stores and the C-stores are putting on a big push, they don't want them. And so when you had somebody like, there's one of the big outfits in Mason City, I'll leave unnamed right now, refused to take back cans. Well, then others decided they could do the same thing, refuse to take cans. And, if they all decide to refuse it, again, the state isn't gonna shut them down for selling groceries. I mean, it's a power play. And what you really have here is you have a couple, three strong organizations. I mean, you got the Iowa Beverage Association that, they don't like the nickel. You got the grocer wholesale or grocer retail association, again, they don't like the nickel, they don't wanna have those. And then, of course, you have the public that I believe has a 70 to 75% approval of the recycling of these. And so the legislature's between a rock and a hard place. I mean, they don't wanna tick off the public because there's so much support for it, and yet again, here's these two strong grocer or retailers, or whatever you wanna call them. I mean, it'll be interesting next year, to see what happens again on the bottle bill. I don't think they can ever get rid of it, but yet again, they don't wanna
Well, I think
increase it to,
recycling helps keep our ditches cleaner.
yeah.
It does,
So, I mean, it's just rather an interesting,
sure.
I guess, in my
Okay,
opinion.
Dave, did you have something? I'm sorry, Steve.
I approve of the, recycling. But I look at it as an additional 5-cent tax, because in the past, Stan, wasn't it mandated that if you sold the beverage, you had to take the cans back?
it still is.
And then they don't, so basically, people have nowhere to go except
And
the
that's where,
ditch, or if they can find a place to
Steve, did you want to add something?
put them in the.
well, Dave is bringing up the same thing that
You were thinking,
They have no choice.
It
And I see the value of giving to the conservation or to the fireworks and things like that. But it's really leaving the public with no choice.
Well, you got,
Or send it to the garbage, send it to the landfill.
which is what it's, the
Hy-Vee
5 cent
something.
isn't for.
Hy-Vee still takes?
you know,
Okay, any other public, you don't think Hy-Vee does anymore, Gloria?
Absolutely not. Is it or is it not on the agenda come January 2021? At the state level,
I have no idea.
it is.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments about anything else? Okay, we're gonna call this meeting adjourned.